All right, so I'm going to say something and you're going to think of what the opposite is. As above, sun, peanut butter, training. If you didn't get the last one, it's recovery, right? So I train super intense, very hard. I lift very heavy when I do show up to the gym. And I want to make sure that when I'm going to show up the following time to train, that I'm ready to rock, that I'm not feeling sore. And so recovery is a huge aspect of my training, but most people just kind of neglect it. They just go about their day and hope that when they show up to the gym the next day, they're ready to rock. So I'm going to go over with you all of the equipment and the tools that I use so that I can perform at my best whenever I am training, whether that be in the gym, running, calisthenics, whatever it may be, because it's super important. If you're not letting your muscles actually recover, they're not really going to be growing. So let's get into it. All right, so we got all the recovery gear, and I'm going to be starting out from cheapest to most expensive recovery tools. Now, one of my favorite things, and it happens to be the cheapest, is a lacrosse ball. This is great for rolling out your feet. You can put it on the ground, roll out your feet like that. If you have a knot in your back, you can put it on the ground, lay on it, roll around like a bear scratching his back on a tree. If that's too heavy for you, there's too much pressure, you can put it against a wall, same thing, like a bear scratching his back. It's really good at getting in between the shoulder blades and getting those deep knots out. But this is super easy to travel with. You can get it on Amazon. I think it's like $3 a ball. Super solid there. Next up, we have bands. I like using these to help stretch out my shoulders and whatnot. And then also if I'm on the ground trying to stretch out my legs, I can use this to help hold a stretch further than I might be able to myself if I don't have a partner to help me stretch. So these are awesome. Plus you can use these in calisthenics to do assisted pull-ups, muscle ups, things like that. Same thing, you can get this on Amazon for super cheap. I'll link everything that I can. I don't see why I shouldn't be able to link everything in the in the description for Amazon. Next up, we have trusty old foam roller. This is awesome. Legs, back. It usually cracks my back if I haven't done it in a while, but I especially like this on my Achilles, as well as, which my Achilles right now is really tight, as well as my IT band. You can't really stretch your IT band, so rolling it out is super critical. After that, I believe the next cheapest is going to be this device. So this is one of my favorite stretching tools. It has a couple different settings, but you put it up against a wall and then you stand on it and it stretches out your Achilles just like this. And it's very, very effective. I personally like to do 1 foot at a time. I feel like you get a better stretch doing it that way, but I mean, I literally have this in the middle of my apartment. That's how much I love this thing. So if you've been running a lot, that is super critical. Next up, probably a toss-up between these two. I don't know which one's more expensive, but you have the chirp wheel, which this is similar to a foam roller. However, this is only for your back, and it has a little impression here for your spine. So that way it's not pressing on your spine and instead the muscles along your spine. So typically when I do this, it cracks my back the best, relieves a lot of tension that I have in my back. So this is awesome. I wish it wasn't as big because I definitely would travel with something like this. They make a smaller one, but it's not as effective because you can't arch your back as much when you are doing the roll. And then they actually make one that's a little bit bigger that I liked a lot, but I don't know how I lost it when I was moving, I think. So I just have this one now. And then this is a So Right. The easiest way to put this is this hurts so good. So you get this up in your psoas muscle, which is kind of like above your crotch and kind of below your abs. And it's kind of right here. But this can get super, super, super tight. And it's really hard to stretch it. You kind of got to push on it. You can do, at the end of yoga class, I typically have you do a stretch where you're squeezing your knee to your chest, and you can feel it massaging your psoas muscle. But a lot of people have issues with their lower back and even other parts of their legs because their psoas muscle is super tight. So this is something that you have to use on a pretty regular basis to have it be effective. But it does make a huge difference. So I definitely would recommend this thing. And also, it doubles as a good back massager because it's so hard. I like to lay on it on my back, especially like the muscles against my spine. It does a really good job of massaging that. Next up, I think we have this guy. This is a Therabody, very portable massage gun. There's 3 different settings on this, but this is just great. I usually keep this in my car, and it's great for massaging before or after a run, especially like my neck and whatnot. I carry a lot of stress in my neck, so I like to use that, and it's just super convenient because it's so small. So rather than bringing this big guy, like if I'm traveling, I don't want to throw this in my backpack, I'll use this instead. This is the Hyperice Hypervolt gun, massage gun. Now, they make versions of this, not this company, but just on Amazon, you can get brands that are way cheaper than this. And I'd say the difference in effectiveness is about 10%. That 10% is pretty big though, and so that's why I was willing to pay to get the nicer one. Basically, it just has a pressure sensor, so it knows how hard you're pushing against your muscle, and it compensates for that. So it just feels a lot better, and it's higher quality. So I've had this for a couple years. This is probably the tool that I use the most, and I use it for literally my entire body. If I ever have people over and I'm just like feeling super tight, I'm like, yo, can you massage my back? Like, it's harder for me to get that area, so I usually have them do that. And then the final tool, and my favorite tool, is the Normatec leg boots. So these things, they're like space boots. You zip them up like this, and then I don't have the hose and the actual compressor here, but you attach the hose to this, and then this fills up with air, and it squeezes your leg, kind of like when you're getting your blood pressure taken. It'll do that, and it's equivalent, I think it's like an hour cycle, is equivalent to 24 hours of blood flow. So after you go for a really long run, you throw these on for 30 minutes, an hour. You literally don't need to do anything. It does everything automatically for you. I just sit back, relax. Usually I'm editing a video or watching like YouTube or something. I try to be somewhat productive with my time, but by the time it's over, I take them off and I'm feeling incredible. So these are super, super convenient. Again, you don't have to do anything. You just turn them on and they start working. So this is probably the best investment I made as a runner, but as a like gym goer, this is probably the next best investment I've made. And the best ROI that I've received without a doubt is the lacrosse ball, because this is like $3 and it works like an absolute charm. This is like, I think $300, and it also works incredibly well, but it's a lot more expensive. And I think these might be cheaper because they came out with a new one, but I think these are about $650 or $700. But I use these all the time. Very, very happy with the results that they've given me. So it definitely helps me run a lot more, feel fresher, and I don't really see myself living without them moving forward. So these are the recovery tools I use. Let me know if there's something that you guys use that I don't have here that I need to get, but hopefully you guys are inspired and you hit the recovery super hard. That way you can train even harder. I'll see you guys in the next one.